Okay guys, let's roll. Today we're going to be talking about Rupert Lowe, who formed the Restore Britain movement. He's certainly charismatic. I like him. But what do we know about him? What do we actually know about dear Rupert? Other than he's got a pleasant face, which seems to inspire trust. Uh, so let's see what we know. Let's start off. Where did uh, where did Rupert go to school? Well, Rupert went to Radley College, all boys school. Let's have a look here. Public school, private boarding school, all boys. What's the motto? Wise as serpents, innocent as doves. Matthew 10:16. By all accounts, it's a very good school. Um, Not quite as good as the school I went to, HMS Ganges, but still, nevertheless, a good school, and it done him well. Anyhow, so let's see what else we know about his education, is it? Well, I've got a bit of a script this time as well, guys, so hopefully I won't start, my butterfly brain won't start wandering off into places it shouldn't, providing I stick to the script. What do you think the chances are of me doing that? Yeah, you know me too well already. Okay, so let's start again. Rupert Lowe was educated at Radley College, one of England's more traditional independent boarding schools. Yeah, that's kind of traditional, I suppose. Unless you went to a comprehensive or a grammar school, as did I. After that, where did Rupert go? He went off to the University at Reading, studied for a Bachelor of Science. So he's not only exactly an outsider, is he? Who's wandered in from nowhere. He is definitely a product of our established institutions, if you like, which is a bit strange, really, because he now seems to spend most of his time arguing that those institutions are broken up beyond repair. It's a good job he didn't go to Farage's school. He might have been bullied or called a Nazi or worse. Yeah. Anyhow, so that's Rupert's education. Yeah, he went to a good school. He's got a good degree. So now perhaps we'll take a look at the man, Rupert Lowe, who wants to restore Britain. Yeah? Okay. Now, depending on who you ask, right, Rupert Lowe is either a straight-talking patriot, saying what no one else dares to say, except people like me, or the human embodiment of, have you considered setting fire to the rule book? As usual, the truth sits somewhere in the middle, and it's more interesting than the slogan. This is where Lowe came from, how he ended up in Parliament, why he fell out with Reform UK, and why he's now running the movement called Restore Britain, which sounds either reassuring or rather threatening, depending on your disposition. Perhaps both. One thing, what do we know? Well, one thing for sure is he's not a career politician, is he? Personally, I don't know about you, I loathe career politicians, especially those ones who go straight from university, join a political party, act as interns, and work their way through the party until eventually they're given a safe constituency where they will do as they are told by their masters with no real work-life experience. When I was really young, the Labour Party politicians used to come back from working class backgrounds. They'd had experience of working down the pits or in the steelworks. They knew about the working class because they came from the working class. Anyhow, but talking about Rupert, Rupert didn't come up through politics the normal way. No party youth wing, no think tank CV, no years spent nodding earnestly behind a minister with a clipboard. He came from business, finance, consultancy, investment. It was a world where problems are meant to be identified, fixed, and if they can't be fixed, scrapped and replaced. I would have liked to have worked with someone like Rupert. Often on my contracting career, I'd sometimes meet someone and think, I wish I'd met you earlier. You know, we'd have been a good double act. Yeah. I like his ideas. If they can't be fixed, scrap it and replace it. Anyhow, Rupert brings that mindset into politics, doesn't he? If you read his posts every morning, which I do, the guy is something else. He doesn't talk much about political philosophy, but he does talk about failure. And he's really got a lot to talk about, hasn't he? Haven't he, guys? I mean, I get really depressed every day looking at failure, failure, failure. I try to find something bright to tell you about, but I can't. Although I did try to tell you about Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, but you didn't want to know. I think that's perhaps because I should have told you that it wasn't about Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It was actually about two pigs in Tamworth. Now you'll have to go and watch that video to find out what I'm talking about. Anyhow, Rupert talks about failure, broken systems and incompetent leadership. And we've got that in spades, haven't we, with two-tier Kia. I can't think of any decent politician in any of the parties. I mean, years ago, even ones like Tony Benn, you know, he'd had a privileged upbringing, but I think at the end of the day, people like Tony Benn, even though he was on the left, he was still a British patriot and cared about his country. Just different ideas about the way to go about making it better. Anyhow, Rupert, back on sort of script. He hasn't got a temperament for compromise politics, has he? It's kind of his way or no way. And at this moment in time, we need men like Rupert who won't compromise. Anyhow, what about his, before he came to politics, what was he doing? Well, he was with the Southampton Football Club. Does Southampton play football? As if I know anything about football. but but that's where Rupert first sort of come to the public eye. He was better known for the football. He took charge of Southampton Football Club. and to say it was unpopular would be an understatement. Relegation, financial chaos, and the fans were going bananas. I don't think they were big fans of his at all. They accused him of arrogance, mismanagement. Rupert responded, sort of, that the club was broke and reality doesn't care about your feelings. And that's what he's brought into politics, and we need more of that. I remember once we had a slogan when I was organiser for the National Front in Newport. We tried to put the NF into Newport fans, but they weren't buying it. They were more interested in politics than rolling around in the gutter with the Reds. Anyhow, the fans weren't that impressed with Rupert at all. Anyhow, at least Rupert learned from this experience the belief that leadership sometimes means being hated, and that popularity is often a sign you're avoiding hard decisions. Yeah, it's quite true. Rupert says it the way he sees it, doesn't he? And you can't fault him there. Look at that smiling face behind me. I've told you before, guys, don't let a pleasant face fool you. That lesson with Southampton never left him. In fact, it just got even bigger, didn't it? The way he behaved when he came to politics. So, Reform UK and Parliament. Yeah. Rupert went off to Parliament via the Reform UK. I wonder what he thought when he first met Nigel. Nigel Meets Rupert. Was that film Someone Meets Sally or something? At the time, Reform pitched itself as the blunt instrument of British politics, anti-lockdown, anti-net zero, anti-woke, and fiercely opposed to mass immigration. And that's where we're still at. He stood in Great Yarmouth, a seat where trust in Westminster is, let's say, not abundant, and you can bet their trust in Westminster is even less now that Rupert is there, and you can bet he's working behind the scenes to bring the people of Great Yarmouth up to speed as to what is happening in our country. In fact, I think he's just opened up his own little political party, specifically dedicated to Great Yarmouth. That might be the best if every constituency had an MP who was elected to represent the constituency. I heard an MP speak once, I can't remember which one, but the MP turned around and said he is not in Parliament to represent his constituency, he is in his constituency to represent Parliament and his party. The complete obverse of what it should be. They're elected to represent their constituents, but they don't. Anyhow, 2024, Rupert won, he won, didn't he? And he was elected and he was inside Parliament, and he didn't try to blend in, and I don't blame him. If you knew about what went on in the visitors' bar, yeah, it's like a Turkish bathhouse on gay night. He spoke like someone who believed the building was already on fire and that everyone calmly debating procedure was missing the point. It's a talking shop, really, isn't it? For him to look good, give sound bites and stuff like that. If anything important is being discussed, or if they have to make a serious decision like a pay rise for themselves, they will pack the house. But you've all seen the videos of Rupert making speeches, exposing the rape gangs, the crime, the violence, the stabbings, and he'll speak to an empty chamber, apart from the Deputy Speaker of the House who has to be there. That's what they're paid for. And borders, crime, sovereignty, culture, all framed as systems that fail because no one was willing to pull the emergency brake. Well, Rupert wouldn't he? Rupert would. Anyhow, that's making him popular with people like me, but not with people like Nigel Farage. There can only be one man on stage if Nigel is about, and that's Nigel. So what happened? There was Rupert inside of Reform UK. Nigel is getting jealous, and it's obviously time for Rupert to move on. Things went from bad to worse, didn't they? He accused the party of being centralised, personality driven with Nigel, and more interested in media moments than real structural change. Let me have a sip of my coffee, guys. I was up at 4 o'clock this morning. You guys were playing on my mind. I was thinking about all the blathering I do in my videos now. I can stop it. So that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to stay focused and not blather. I don't think I've done it yet, have I? Remember that he accused Reform of being centralised, personality driven, and more interested in media moments than real structural change. Nigel in return accused Lowe of being undisciplined and impossible to manage. Yeah. Rupert was showing all the traits of an intelligent person with a mind of his own. Someone who could be led but not driven. And that's not what Nigel wants, is it? Anyhow, he was suspended, and then he just walked away. after all those vile accusations about him. I wish he'd sued Nigel. Anyhow, so now where are we at now with dear Rupert? He's an independent MP. And then what? People say, why didn't Rupert join Advance UK? Rupert didn't say that. He didn't say, even I'll start my own party. He said that parties are the problem, and they are, aren't they, to a certain extent. Especially political parties which have the whip, where they're instructed to do as told and not think for themselves. Which is part of the problem. And this is usually what someone says about 10 minutes before starting something that looks suspiciously like a party. And this is how we come to have Restore Britain. But Restore Britain isn't a party, is it? It's a movement, and some people might disagree with me, and that's good. It's what it's all about, disagreement. We should talk about it. Failing that, we can always take sledgehammers to each other. Anyhow, back to Restore Britain and the movement. I like it as a movement. I follow the things that Restore Britain does. They are bloody excellent, some of the papers they put out. And I saw one yesterday, a graph of knife crime and rapes that are carried out in the UK, and it is truly excellent. And I thought I must get an image of that to show you guys. And of course I forgot. Yeah, it's my age. Anyhow, I believe in the movement. I think it complements Advance UK. I don't think Rupert would have such a loud voice and as much publicity as he does if he was in Advance UK. You can see how they bury in news from Advance UK. We've got some great people in it and fantastic policies. If their draft of their policies is anything to look at, it's superb. And I'm really looking forward to February when they announce them. I'm just sorry I can't make the party because it's my bath night. I mean, if it had been the day after, I could have, because that's the day I cut my toenails. I could have left them another year. Anyhow, back to the movement. In practice, policy papers, petitions, mailing lists, online supporters, and a very clear message that Britain is in serious trouble and polite politics has failed. I think we've all agreed that, haven't we? I mean, we are really close to something really bad. Anyhow, what does Rupert via Restore Britain have to say about the state of our country? He says, well, quite accurately, that Britain's lost control of its borders, the state is bloated and incompetent, law and order has collapsed, cultural confidence has evaporated. Let's be honest, guys, look at the NHS. The NHS is a mess. Okay, it's got its problems because it's been overloaded with the new people, and you've only got to go into any city or major hospital near a city just to see who's getting treated now, and you'll see lots of different shades of skin there and different languages. Interpreters' fees alone must cost the NHS a fortune. Then of course they've got all those managers, yeah, and they're always if there's to be any cuts, it's never the managers. They always manage to hold on to their jobs. It's all their DEI hires. I can't talk about that. It might cost. I can't talk about that. So we now agreed the state's bloated and incompetent. Look at our Navy. We've got more admirals than we've got warships. Yeah? And they talk about going to war with Russia. I don't think Keir realises. As veterans, would rather fight for Russia than for the global elite and you, Kia. Yeah, give me a gun. Nah, violence is wrong. We should do it peacefully. Shouldn't we, guys? Do it peacefully? Or would you rather go all in now and get it over and done with? So we agreed the state's bloated, incompetent, law and order has collapsed, cultural confidence has evaporated, and the solutions are equally blunt. And this is the kind of talk I love from Rupert. Mass deportations. Pakistani recently deported 2 million Afghans. If Pakistan can deport, we can deport. Yeah, there was no messing about. They had to go. So any Pakistanis here who object to being deported have got no comeback. If it's good enough for Pakistan, it's good enough for us. We're just following their example. Thank you, Pakistan. You've shown us what to do with illegal immigrants. Scrapping net zero commitments. Well, we know that's insanity. It's destroyed Europe, destroyed our industrial base. The only people really getting rich from that are the global elite in America, because now Europe has to buy expensive gas and oil from them, shipped across the Atlantic, instead of having it piped to them from Russia at knockdown prices. He wants lower taxes, smaller government. I think we all agree with smaller government. What's happening in Wales? Are we getting smaller government? No, we're getting another 6, whatever they call them, assembly members. A waste of space. The Welsh Assembly is a total waste of space. They only got there because they rigged the election way back in time, when they voted for devolution. I got to do an article on that. It was as crooked as the 2020 elections in America. So Rupert doesn't want no euphemisms, no soft language, no reassurances. There's no comfort guaranteed with Rupert at all. All you're going to get is the truth, hard truth, unpleasant as it might be. People like me and those of you who support Rupert, you see honesty and a patriot, and his critics see provocation, because his critics, the establishment, the elite, they want things to stay just as they are, with no changes, with them on top of the pyramid and the foundations securely held down. What does Rupert say about this? Well, he says that if people are uncomfortable with what he's saying, then that's proof that his movement is necessary, and I agree with him. We need to make people uncomfortable. What does Rupert think about mass deportation? Well, outrage, wasn't it? The world is outraged. Outlined, headlines, outrage, far right, you name it, they start to throw it. And how did Rupert respond to all this? The controversy that he started was used to demonstrate his core argument. The Parliament is completely out of step with public anger on immigration. Do you think they're really out of step? Are they all totally stupid? I find it difficult to believe that they are all totally stupid, our parliamentarians. Or are they happy that they can live in a gated community away from all the trouble that's going on? Anyhow, that petition, do you remember it? People say petitions don't work. Hundreds of thousands of us signed it. Those petitions showed the people that they weren't alone, that they were in a line alignment with their fellow citizens. And that's a big thing, to know you're not alone. That's why I ask you to leave comments and likes, because sometimes I feel like I'm that radio DJ in America song. I am the morning DJ on Radio AOL or something. Yeah, talking to himself. A petition. So I'm all a big supporter of the petitions. Tell me in the comments if you are. Anyhow, I was up at 4 o'clock thinking about you boys this morning. Show me some love. And Rupert. Anyhow, for Rupert, this isn't just about immigration policy now, it's about willpower. And I love people with willpower. I really do. People who don't give in and people who keep going. That's willpower. We need an iron will if we are to save our country for our children and our great-grandchildren. Told you I had a fabulous time with Bonnie the other day. God, I love that kid. He argues Britain doesn't lack laws, it lacks the courage to enforce them. Yeah, we've got the laws. We could stop immigration and the boat people tomorrow, and it's the boat people, as we call them, they're only the tip of the iceberg. It's the ones who are coming in legally. It's ones like the Bangladeshi. He's not even a British citizen, but he's got permanent leave to remain in this country, and now he's standing as a candidate for reform. Other Bangladeshi news yesterday, I see a Bangladeshi was arrested for stabbing someone somewhere. I should have got that link. Anyhow, look, whether you agree or not, no, I can't say that. I don't want the channel closed down yet. Anyhow, we got to move on at any rate, because Elon Musk has come onto the battlefield. I'm not a great lover of electric cars. I'd never buy one. I used to spend a lot of time on the motorways. A lot of time. More than you can imagine. I travelled all over the country. From north to south. John O'Groats to Land's End Drive. No, that's another story. But so I'd rather have a big powerful car under me with a tank full of petrol and a 5-gallon jerry can of petrol in the back, along with everything else in case you're caught in a snowstorm or something, which I have been. So anyhow, Elon Musk. I like Elon Musk. I do, apart from his electric cars. And what he's done with SpaceX or wherever, that is absolutely brilliant, watching his ships land. This is what we should be spending money on, the world. No weapons of mass destruction and killing each other in proxy wars. Missiles costing £10 million a throw. We should be reaching for the stars. Or making life better for the people instead of depopulating the planet. Anyhow, Elon picked up on Restore Britain and Rupert, didn't he? Nothing detailed, nothing formal, but enough to send the social media and the mainstream media and the global elite into a bloody big meltdown. And that was beautiful to watch. To have someone like Elon Musk on our side and speaking out for us, because we can't really speak for ourselves anymore, was superb. The global elite hated it, didn't they? They rolled up their eyes. Everyone behaved actually as you'd expect, really, wasn't it? We were going to love it, they were going to hate it, they being our enemies. Symbolism matters though, doesn't it? Restore Britain is part of a global backlash against all the liberal, woke, technocratic politics. As it's a party that's we in Britain have been a bit late going to, haven't we? I mean, France has been kicking off for quite a while, and yet they haven't managed to succeed in putting things right in their country. If anything, it's getting worse, isn't it? It really is. There's and his name shamefully escapes me. He was on GPN, Great British News, once in the early days, and said the only thing that's going to sort this out is the way Australia dealt with their rabbits way back in time. I think it was back in the 60s when Australia got overrun with rabbits. And there was only one solution. It was a final solution for the rabbits, that's for sure. Well, anyhow, after that, the guy was taken off GB News. Anyhow, the thing is, with Rupert being in Parliament making those speeches, it shows that we are not alone. It gives some people the courage to speak. Some of us will always speak the truth the way they see it. So, I guess I better sum up what sort of politician is Rupert. Well, he's not a theorist, is he? And he's not interested in nuance. And he's got no patience for managed decline. He's instinctive, managerial, and moral rather than philosophical. I don't know, I can't believe. No, I suspect there's a bit of a philosopher in all of us, isn't there? Certainly in me, I get very philosophical. Think about everything. Now, the establishment say that people like Rupert, Ben Habib, and parties like Advance UK and the Restore movement will slide the country into a kind of fascism, dictatorship, authoritarianism, which is kind of rich coming from this government. Now, we have to resist digital ID, try to use cash more. I say to my wife, use cash. But she doesn't really see the problem. But then again, that's women fear. You'll never convince them that they are wrong. If I out in the car with my wife, I sometimes say to her, even when I know the route and I've got the sat nav, I'll say, down here at the end of this road, which way do we go now? And she'll go, to the right. And I say, you sure? I'm positive it's to the left, love. And she'll go, it's to the right, listen to me. So I'll deliberately follow her misdirections until finally she has to admit that she was wrong. Oh, the games married couples play. Anyhow. See, this is the problem, guys. You tell me to stop blathering, but my mind keeps wandering. Anyhow, someone said I only do it to pad out the videos to get adverts in. Farthest thing from the truth, my friend. The farthest thing from the truth. Anyhow, so I think we're all agreed. The elite are saying we'll slide into a fascist dictatorship, and we already know, as plebs already know, we're living in one. I'm going to seek sanctuary or refugee status in North Korea or Russia. You've seen the videos of their Christmas lights and their towns and their cities lit up. Same in Poland or Hungary. No street bollards there. Just people enjoying Christmas. What did they do different to us? Or what didn't they do? Is there any wonder people like President Orbán of Hungary is loved by his people? And believe it or not, the government will tell you that Russia is ruled by a vile dictator. President Putin is very much loved and respected in Russia. I certainly respect him. Who would you rather have as your Prime Minister? Tuti Akia, whose loyalty as he said himself, is to the WEF first, or someone who loves his country, like President Putin? Oh well. Answers in the comments. Anyhow, back to Rupert. He rejects compromise. There is no compromise on this. There should be no compromise. This is not something you can say, well, let's reach a compromise. We either win or we lose. And that is it. We are all in on this one, guys. For me, Rupert is refreshing. For the global elite, he's alarming. So where will it all end? Do you think Rupert will merge, restore Britain with Advance UK? Worse, the Reform Party? What a nightmare. I feel sorry for those lions being led by the donkey Farage. It's gonna hurt when they discover the truth about him and they find out their idol had feet of clay. I've been there, I know what it feels like. Well. What is Rupert? I gotta wind it up now. Rupert is talking like a man playing the long game. He's not concerned about being liked. He is concerned about being right. And the righter he goes, the righter he'll be in my eyes. Anyhow, history will decide. He didn't enter politics to fit in, did he? Rupert didn't. He entered the same way I entered when I was young. Because he wanted the best. He wants the best for his country. That's all patriots want, the best for their country. I sometimes talk to people who are truly despicable people. And I think inside, why should I care about you? You're a vile person. And then I remember that that vile person is just a part of my tribe. And there are good and bad in every tribe. So you fight on. Anyhow, he believes that Britain's being mismanaged into decline and that saying so politely hasn't worked, and restore Britain is his solution. If he restores anything at all, I would be grateful. I would be pleased. If he can restore everything, I'd worship him. Anyhow, at least he's picked up on how angry the country is. I'm angry inside. Try not to show it, try to laugh. But all I could say is, thank God for people like Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib. I guess that's about it, guys. Do you want to have a quick look at the channel? And then I can put this to bed. You'll have to excuse me, Rupert. Bye, Rupert. Yeah. Right, 1,430 subscribers. I think we was on 1422 yesterday, wasn't it? Or 1426, so we're up a couple of subscribers. Black African women advising, that was good. News from Ukraine. Yeah. God bless you, Charlie Kirk. Advance UK, yeah. Oh, and look, guys, we're rich. Ta-da! £2.97. The first £100 we get, I'm going to either donate it to Raise the Colours, or perhaps we'll have a poll and we'll decide who to give the first £100 to. The reason I say £100 is you can't cash anything out from YouTube until it's either got to be £100, $100 US, yeah. So we'll have a poll, although at this rate it might be quite a while before we get there. Anyhow, let's have a look at the man, Rupert. Rupert from Radley College. I wouldn't mind having a pint with him. Oh, I like that photograph of him on the beach. Okay, guys, now I am blathering. You've been listening to Paul Morris, the Green Arrow, speaking to you about Rupert Lowe of the Restore Britain movement. That's a wrap.